Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another episode of Myth Busting Mondays. And for the final myth of today's episode, you guys are going to really like this if you're a fan of Marvel. We are going to be seeing if whether or not that you can swing around with a smoker's tongue like Spider-Man. Is the smoker's tongue going to allow us to be able to swing around a map like how Spider-Man does with his webs? It's a very unique and very creative myth, so I'm very happy to show it to you guys at the end and what we found. And not only that, guys, but next week is going to be the 100th episode of Myth Busting Mondays. I have something very fun planned for that episode. It's going to be very special. I want to make sure you guys don't miss it. So please, I encourage you guys to not only subscribe, but also just end up looking forward and tuning into that episode because you guys do not want to miss it. But yeah, guys, with all that being said, I hope you guys end up enjoying this week's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. Myth: does the tank's frustration meter change depending on difficulty? Alrighty, guys, so for the first myth of the episode, this is going to be submitted in by Kevin. So Kevin, here is going to end up being something from the Left 4 Dead wiki, specifically about the tank's frustration and how it exactly works. It does indeed, in fact, change depending on what difficulty you're on, including some other outside factors. So to answer your question, no, your eyes do not deceive you. It does indeed change depending on what difficulty you're playing on, also including some other things as well. So that means that your myth here today, Kevin, is going to end up being confirmed. The tank's frustration does change depending on difficulty. Myth: can a tank break down the safe room door? Alright guys, so myth number 2 is submitted in by Vader. Now we want to also show the difference between the ending safe room and then the spawning safe room, because those are two different things. So here's going to be the safe room that you encounter at the end of a campaign. This one, the tank cannot break through no matter what if it is closed. All he can end up doing at the very most is hit you if you walk right up to the safe room door and then just like knock you back. But it's not like he's going to break into the room. There's nothing he can do about this. Now in terms of the beginning or spawn safe room, as long as you have not opened it yet, the tank also cannot get in here either. You are completely invincible, and unlike the ending safe room, he can't hit you at all regardless of how close you get. However, you can still damage him. And if you end up opening the safe room door, then the tank can break it, regardless of whether or not you reclose it or not, because it gives him the ability now to break it down because you have opened it up and have been trying to escape. And even though this part would never happen in an actual game, this also works in the reverse sense, where if you want to, you can trap him inside of the safe room while you're on the outside, as long as you have no-clipped and not opened the door. So technically you have to cheat, but it's just still funny. So that means that yes, myth 2 is confirmed. The tank can knock down the safe room door if the situation allows for it. Myth: can a witch friendly fire a boomer? Alrighty guys, so myth 3 is submitted in by Nitwit. Now we're going to start this off in normal campaign first and eventually move on to versus mode. Now in normal campaign, what we're going to do is spawn in idle boomers and then shoot a idle witch, so that way she'll get out of idle and attack us. We're going to put the boomers essentially just randomly in the way, so that way the witch has to try to force her way through them in order to end up seeing if whether or not she can truly end up killing them. Because technically the witch is never really supposed to kill any special infected ideally. It only really ends up happening if you screw around with her AI. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are going to agree when I say this, but I have seen the witch kill things multiple different times and in multiple different ways to get to her target. I have seen her kill somebody else on accident. I have seen her kill multiple people. I have seen her run through special infected all the time before. I have seen multiple different things happen with the witch's AI. It's not really the most consistent. Our first original method was trying to just have the boomer just get in the way of the witch and just hope that by body blocking that somehow she would just hit him on accident. But that really didn't end up working out. And then there was an idea that Dan had where he said that, oh, well, what if the witch kills somebody and then when she doesn't have a target per se anymore, you just get in front of her while she's trying to run away. And that really didn't work either, because the witch would either do things like despawn, or she'd be too fast, or just the situation just would not allow for it because like some outside factors like the game ending because everyone died would happen. This was something where I know what it is and I know what I want to say is the true result, But because I can't prove it just due to the circumstances of what we got within our gameplay, the best I can give this is plausible. Just because I believe it's the right thing to do. I believe that I should ideally be able to show proof of my findings. And even though I've seen this happen, without video proof, I know there's just going to be somebody that's just going to, like, put it into question. So I'm just going to leave it at plausible, even though basically I'm pretty sure almost 99% of you are going to say it's confirmed because you have your own experience in this. Myth. Can you crash someone's game by inviting them too much? Alrighty guys, myth 4 is submitted in by Dan. Now ever since we tested the myth about whether or not you can get 1,000 ping, Dan has loved to crash my PC semi-regularly. And when it comes to this is no different. Dan has crashed my game by inviting me too much once before, and we wanted to end up getting it on video because we thought it'd be funny. Here's the interesting thing. Dan's PC for the last several weeks has been revolting because instead of my game crashing, Dan's game crashed. In fact, he crashed his entire Steam application by inviting me too much, which is very funny. So, Dan not only has crashed my PC, but he's crashed his own PC. So this means that myth number 4 is confirmed. You can crash somebody else's PC if you spam them too much, but you can also crash yours, and you can crash it pretty damn bad. So I would recommend doing this very, very carefully. You can troll somebody if you want to, but you have to question if it's worth it or not, because your PC might rebel. Alrighty guys, so here comes the final myth of the episode. Once again is going to be, can you use a smoker's tongue to zip around a map like Spider-Man does with his webs? We're going to be swinging over now to the final myth of the episode and see if it's confirmed, plausible, or busted. Myth. Can you use the smoker's tongue to swing around like Spider-Man? Alrighty guys, the last myth of the episode is going to be submitted in by Glabursco. Now when it comes to the smoker does indeed have a ridiculously powerful tongue. He can end up having it basically aimbot you. It can go infinite range. So it is pretty much like a superpower. But can you use the smoker's tongue to be able to zip around the map? Now, the way that Glabursco had this in mind in order to possibly get this to work is to have a hanging survivor and have the smoker grab them with his tongue while they're on a ledge, so that way he can be able to have it while he's falling, his tongue will basically catch himself. The problem is, though, with this myth is that, number one, the smoker can't shoot his tongue and jump or move for that matter at the same time, but he also can't reset his cooldown for his tongue quick enough in order to be able to launch his tongue back at the same person or another person before he hits the ground. Which means that as much as this myth sounded cool, it was really only possible on paper and not in reality, and the myth unfortunately is busted. You cannot swing around with a smoker's tongue as if you were Spider-Man, but god damn it, that would have been cool as hell. Alrighty guys, so that is going to be it for this week's episode of Myth Busting Mondays, and I do truly hope you guys ended up enjoying, and if you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, subscribe, follow, and all that beautiful stuff. And once again guys, just a friendly reminder that the very next episode of Myth Busting Mondays is going to be episode 100. It is going to be a very special, fun, and creative episode, so please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. We are super close to 4,000 subscribers as well. We might have probably already hit it by the time that this video goes up, so if we did, thank you in advance. But yeah guys, make sure you tune in for that episode because you do not want to miss it. And I truly hope you guys end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers are ever going to see. Thank you for watching guys, I love every single one of you, and peace out.
Hey meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too. And give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!